Hi, everyone. I'm Harper, a 32-year-old single mom to the most amazing little fighter, my son David. Every morning starts at 6 o'clock a.m., medications, stretching exercises, and getting him ready for the day. Mom, you're the best stretcher in the world, he always says, making me laugh, even on the toughest mornings. My dad, Matthew, has been our rock ever since David's dad walked out after learning about his diagnosis. Dad has always made sure David had the best care and support. Princess, whatever David needs, just tell me, he'd say. But everything changed when Dad married Victoria 2 years ago. Last week, we got the incredible news that David was accepted into the Cedar Grove Special Education Program. I was thrilled and couldn't wait to share it. That's wonderful news. I'll cover all the costs, Dad said immediately. But Victoria's face darkened. Matthew, darling, what about Brendan and Sophia's college funds? We need to think about their future too, she said with a forced smile. Yesterday, while I was helping David with his homework, I overheard her on the phone. It's always David this, David that. Matthew spends more time with his grandson than his own wife. And don't get me started on precious Harper. She's got him wrapped around her finger with this whole single mom act. David must have sensed my tension. Mom, why does Victoria make that angry face when I ask Grandpa to play with me? I swallowed my frustration and answered as calmly as I could. Some people just don't understand what really matters, sweetheart. This morning, Victoria made another scene during breakfast about David's upcoming surgery. Another $50,000? This is insane. We could buy a luxury car with that money, she exclaimed. That's enough, Victoria, Dad snapped. David's health isn't up for discussion. Whatever, she muttered, storming out, leaving her kids, Brendan and Sophia, exchanging uncomfortable looks. Don't worry about it, Harper, Brendan tried to reassure me. Mom's just adjusting. But I know better. I've seen her eye rolls when David needs help, the dramatic sighs when his medical supplies arrive, and the accidental rescheduling of his therapy appointments. She's not adjusting, she's resenting. Lately, I've noticed things disappearing or being moved. David's medicine, his exercise equipment, his school supplies. Mom, does Victoria hate me? David asked me last night, his big, questioning eyes breaking my heart. No, baby, I said, holding him close. Some people just have very small hearts. Last week, his special lunch disappeared from the fridge. Must have gotten mixed up with the trash, Victoria said with her fake innocent look. Then his homework folder somehow ended up in the washer. Yesterday started like any other. Ready for school, champ? I asked as I helped David into his wheelchair. He was extra excited because it was show and tell day. Mom, I can't wait to show everyone my science project. 3 hours later, the school called me at work. David fell, the voice said, and my heart stopped. At the emergency room, I found him looking so small and fragile in a hospital bed. The wheelchair just collapsed, Mom, he whimpered through tears. Everyone was watching. It hurt so bad. The doctor's words crushed me. The fall had aggravated his hip condition, and he would need corrective surgery. Later that night, I overheard Sophia and Brendan arguing in the hallway. We have to tell Harper, Sophia said, her voice shaking. Mom's gone too far this time. What exactly did you see? Brendan asked, his tone equally tense. I saw her in the garage this morning, Sophia replied. She was messing with David's wheelchair. She had a wrench, Brendan. She was loosening something underneath. I thought maybe she was fixing it. Jesus Christ, Brendan muttered, his voice trembling. That's attempted murder. I feel sick. Did you see how hard he fell? The video was all over the school's group chat. Everyone's asking questions. He could have broken his neck, Sophia. Our mom did that. Our own mother. I stood frozen, my blood turning to ice. The accidents, the missing items, it all made horrible, gut-wrenching sense now. What kind of monster would hurt a disabled child? Sophia's voice cracked. The same kind who's been making his medicine disappear, Brendan replied bitterly. Remember last month? She said she accidentally dropped his entire prescription down the disposal. We can't stay here, Brendan, Sophia said, her voice breaking. I can't even look at her anymore. Me neither, he replied. Did you see how she acted when they brought David to the ER? Like she was concerned. She kept saying, accidents happen, with that fake, sad voice. Meanwhile, David's lying there in pain because of her. Their words echoed in my head as I backed away silently. The rage building inside me was unlike anything I had ever felt. Victoria had deliberately hurt my son. Every part of me screamed to confront her. But I knew I needed to think this through. Would she confess? Would her children testify? Was there even a punishment severe enough for what she had done? Unable to sleep, I paced my room, my thoughts racing. Then I heard voices rising from downstairs. Moving quietly, I crept into the hallway. David trusted you. Sophia's voice was trembling with fury. Remember when he made you that Mother's Day card? And all this time you were? I can't even look at you. Please, Sophia, Brendan, don't do this. Victoria begged. We can work this out. Like how you worked out loosening his wheelchair. Brendan shot back, or spilling his medicine, or canceling his therapy behind everyone's back. Victoria's tone shifted, her voice sharp and venomous. Those spoiled brats have ruined everything. Ever since I married Matthew, it's been nothing but David this, David that. Poor little David and his brave single mom, Harper. I couldn't stay quiet anymore. My heart pounding, I stepped into the living room. So it was all you, I said, my voice low but firm. Every accident, every missing item, every canceled appointment, you deliberately hurt my son. Victoria spun around, her face draining of color. You don't deserve any of this, she spat. You and your defective child. My son is worth 1,000 of you, I interrupted, my voice shaking with fury. And now everyone will know exactly what kind of monster you are. No one will believe you, she snapped. It's your word against mine. Really? I replied, narrowing my eyes. Your own children saw you. Are you calling them liars too? Victoria turned desperately to Sophia and Brendan. You wouldn't testify against your own mother, would you? Before they could respond, the front door opened. Dad was home early. His footsteps echoed through the hallway as he approached the living room. Victoria's face turned pale, her bravado crumbling. Everything was about to change. The tension in the room was palpable as Dad walked in. His expression shifted from confusion to concern as he took in the scene. What's going on here? He asked, his voice steady but wary. Matthew, thank goodness you're home. They're all attacking me, Victoria cried, her tone laced with desperation. She hurt David. Sophia burst out, her voice trembling with anger. Mom loosened his wheelchair on purpose. I saw her in the garage with a wrench that morning. Dad's face went pale. What? He whispered. That's ridiculous. Matthew, they're lying. I'm not finished, Sophia interrupted, tears streaming down her face. She's been sabotaging everything, his medicine, his appointments. She admitted it just now. Tell them, Mom, Brendan challenged, stepping forward. Tell him how you wanted to teach Harper a lesson. Tell him how you called David defective. Get out. Dad's words cut through the room like a blade. Matthew, please, Victoria pleaded, her voice cracking. I said get out, Dad repeated, his tone cold and final. I want you gone within the hour. My lawyer will contact you about the divorce. You can't do this to me, after everything I've done. Everything you've done? Dad stepped closer, his voice now a low growl. You me trying to kill my grandson? Sabotaging his care? Making his life hell? Victoria tried one last time. Sophia, Brendan, please. Tell your father you want to stay with me. We're going to Dad's house, Sophia said firmly, her voice unwavering. Don't call us. Don't text us. Just leave us alone. 2 months later, David was recovering beautifully from his surgery. The divorce was finalized in record time, and once Dad's lawyers presented the full story, Victoria's attempts to claim alimony were swiftly denied. The judge's reaction to the wheelchair incident sealed her fate. Brendan and Sophia became regular visitors, often helping David with his physical therapy exercises. The Cedar Grove School program had been transformative for David. His teachers couldn't stop raving about his progress. He was making friends, his confidence was soaring, and last week, he even won the school science fair with a project on adaptive technology. Victoria occasionally tried to call Sophia and Brendan, but they never answered. She showed up at Dad's house once, but the new security system ensured she didn't get past the gate. David's laughter echoed through the house one afternoon as Brendan pushed him in his wheelchair, which they jokingly called their victory lap. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about getting even. It's about rising above. It's about building something beautiful from the ashes of betrayal. Victoria lost everything she valued: her marriage, her children, her social standing. But we gained something priceless: a stronger, more united family. And David? He gained two fantastic siblings who would move heaven and earth to protect him. Now I have a question for you. What would you do if you discovered someone had deliberately harmed your disabled child? Would you expose them immediately or gather evidence first? Share your thoughts in the comments. Did Victoria's kids make the right choice by leaving her immediately, or should they have tried to help her change?